Oh, mm. Hi guys, welcome back. Sunday night info prism. Timothy, what's going on, guys? We got this. I cannot even believe that I figured out how to get my earphones to work on with this microphone. I'm like so happy because I can hear myself. It's really, really nice when I'm hard of hearing, so it's like it makes me feel very secure to know that I can actually hear I can hear myself. I think actually that Rush, may he may his soul rest in peace if he's truly not with us, or if he's with us, may he be smiling bigly. But he was also hard of hearing, and I think that thank you, Peggy. Um, I think that also people who are hard of hearing, like my father was very hard of hearing, and he compensated by talking all the time. And my mother used to say that Rush had the same thing my father had, and I probably do too. That's probably why I talk all the time, because I can't really hear what you're saying. But yeah, I used to. It was interesting growing up with a father who he couldn't hear you, but he pretended he did, and it really didn't make a difference for me. I mean, but he was always there. I mean, he was just a good father. I mean, he was just always there, and I miss him. You know, I never thought I would, because we kind of we never sort of really got along, but we were never on like opposite sides, like politically, like where no, he was not like a big disciplinarian or like a straight dude. He was a sweetheart, but he had his issues, and but he loved to play in the garden. He loved to like go into nature, and he was a Eagle Scout, a captain in the Army Air Force, I think it was during World War II, and he really wanted to go overseas. But we were connected. We had an Uncle Charlie, who was somehow in the political party in New York City, and my father was continually like requesting to go overseas, and my Uncle Charlie was like, "There's no way he's going overseas." I mean, my father was a character because he couldn't really hear, but Uncle Charlie would not allow it, and I think it was very frustrating for my father. I think my face will lighten up as the sun goes down. I could change the ISO now. Do you guys want me to change the ISO? Is Jill here? Jill, should I change the ISO now or should I wait? Hey, Monica. Hey, Ms. Erica. Meister. Weber Meister. Yeah, I'm the Webster, man. Peeps always used to call me Webster in school. And that was before we even knew what a web was. I'm getting feedback from SGNon, and I'm just so flattered. Because SGNon really sees, he keeps saying we're in the most exciting time imaginable. And that's how I see it too. I do not see this as like the end of the world as we know it. I mean, it is the end of the world as we know it, but I see it as like a time of tremendous hope that we're finally like going to leave our personal demons of doubt. Like my demon of doubt, man. We're making friends now. We're chilling. We're like, okay, man. We understand each other. It's like I may never live up to his expectations, but you know, I what can I say? And we all have that little inner voice inside of us, and we've been living with that for probably. centuries, if not thousands of years, the voice, "You're just not good enough. You just don't cut it. You're not good looking. You're not smart. You really, you can fake it maybe, but people are going to figure you out." This kind of thinking, and always like, did I say the right thing? I mean, that demon of doubt, I believe, is. Is going away. I invited Gila to come, but she's cooking tonight for Yontif. That's right. Yontif is in a few days, so everyone should know I won't be broadcasting on Thursday night. Thursday night we go into Shavuos, which is the commemoration of the time when the Jewish people received the Torah, the Ten Commandments, when God came down and shared, and his voice was booming so loud that everyone's souls got blown out of their bodies. I mean, talk about tripping, man. And yeah, so they said to Moses, "Man, you talk to him. We're not down for the struggle. It's like too much for us." But it's a little known holiday. People don't For some reason, people don't really they don't think of this on the level of Passover, and it's really in a way, a much more momentous holiday than Passover, because Passover commemorates the leaving of Egypt, the leaving of the matrix, whereas Shavuos, and it's just in a few days from now, represents the receiving of the Torah. And the Torah, which is the Old Testament, and it really links all these religions. Even Quran starts with Genesis, but the Old Testament is really the story of all of us. And I talk about the reptiles in the garden, but the whole story of Jacob and his sons, and it's such the pathos, I believe it might be the word, but the the genuineness of the Torah. I mean, at least in the Hebrew version, they don't try to make anyone out to be, they're all tzaddikim, they're all holy dudes. They're all, like Joseph. Joseph is a very holy guy. I mean, he wouldn't even spill seed with when he was being seduced by Pharaoh's wife. I mean, not Pharaoh's wife, but the was it the winemaker or the I can't even remember. But anyway, the wife of he was a holy dude. He was a very these were guys on very high levels, and but still they're conveyed in Torah as very human, and I think that's the really beautiful thing for me, about Torah. Now, I came to Torah from the lens of I wanted to learn Hebrew so I understood Kabbalah, because I love Kabbalah, and I got into Judaism because I realized that I couldn't really know Kabbalah if I didn't understand a little bit of the language and specifically the letters, and if I didn't live a Jewish life where I knew the holidays. Something in me told me I had to learn more. But it's interesting that in my studies, in my 25 years of being in a Hasidic community, at the end of it, my interest in Kabbalah was not really such a focal point. I mean, it is. I mean, I think in terms of Kabbalah, but in terms of the 10 spheros and the tree of life. But my real fascination at the end was just with the simple stories, and you can see how much these simple stories really tell us. Like when you look at the story, I'm sorry guys, on Rumble, I didn't connect you, but these simple stories are just so rich. They're so rich, and there's so much humanity and so much, like, the brothers are jealous. I mean, a holy dude would not be jealous, right? They're jealous, and I mean, I'm hearing so many. I'm talking to ladies now, and they talk about that their husbands or their exes, they're all exes, are we're extremely jealous. Jealousy is not a healthy kind of thing. I mean, it makes you crazy. I've been jealous before. When I was in relationships with certain women, I would get a little jealous, and it's a horrific thing to have to deal with. But these are all issues in the Torah. But anyway, so we're coming into Matan Torah, into the giving of the Torah, and between leaving Egypt, we leave Egypt, and then a few nights later, we go through the experience of crossing the Red Sea, of splitting of the sea. And then we spend 49 days between leaving Egypt and receiving the Torah, cleaning up our emotional attributes. I'm gonna have to raise the ISO, I think. I'll do that in a minute. The light on my face is really, maybe I could do it from the phone, maybe. Let me do it from the phone. But yeah, I can do it right here. I'm gonna have to put the guys on. Let's see. Let's go to number one. Okay, there's a little more light, so at least you can. Yeah, I'm not talking in the dark. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, so that'll keep us going for a little while it's a tricky photographic situation because of the fact that we're going from really from light to dark. But okay, so in this 49 days, we deal with our emotional attributes, the seven emotional attributes, ending with Malchus. I want to learn. I want to share more about the 10 sfirot, the 10 attributes that God expresses himself through, and how it relates to the pineal gland, I believe, and the the shift from the tree of knowledge into the tree of life, which is it's a very simple shift. And I really believe in, and I just want to give a shout out to SG Anon again. I don't think, I mean, when our Rebbe said, you want to see Mashiach, you want to see the Messiah, just open your eyes. I don't believe that he was saying something that we don't understand what he meant. I think what he meant, and I think what is happening is we already have most of our existence. We're already in the golden age. It's just we have our thoughts haven't caught up with us. We're still dealing with the destruction or the shedding of the old ways and it really boils down to the demon of doubt, to using that same energy, that same negativity, and kind of cuddling up to it and saying, okay, let's convert that energy into an energy for love and for godliness and for giving to others, and to thinking hopeful, creative thoughts. We are human beings, and we operate. I mean, you see how the artificial intelligence, how the power. Remember, we're in the war of Gog and Magog. The final battle before Mashiach is the war of Gog and Magog. So we're fighting Google and Microsoft. That's what Gog and Magog is. I'm convinced. And I'm surprised, by the way, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm a little guy. I'm not a big rabbi, you know? I mean, for me to know this stuff, it's just because I'm not so, I don't want to sound conceited, but it's like maybe I've just been working on myself for so many decades that the part of me that's kind of like the me, kind of part, I think, I mean, at least I feel like, I mean, my ex-wife would not agree with me, but of course, but I'm not there so much, and that's why I'm able to do this gig, because it's not a matter of, like I say, it's not a matter of ascending. It's not a matter of saying the right prayers in the right order, or of, fasting, or eating or all organic foods all the time and never eating potato chips or any of that stuff. It's to ascend, I believe. I mean, I'm not sure I could call myself somebody who's ascended, but I'm certainly, in terms of my own progress, light years ahead of what I used to be. So in that way, I have transformed myself. But it's not a matter of like doing the right things and joining the right club and like, reading the right. It's just a matter of getting out of the way, which, you know, people would say it means getting rid of your ego. But I think even that kind of understanding is a little bit nebulous and a little bit, we don't really understand what that means. What does that mean? Get rid of, I mean, you need a little bit of ego to survive. You need ego to get out of bed in the morning. I mean, you have to have some kind of an ego structure, but it's the intellectual mind. It's the demon of doubt. It's the fear, it's the anger, it's the jealousy, it's the sorry, I said again. It's the planning. I spoke to a friend today. She says it's like, first I do this, then I do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, and I make lists, and it's like getting into this mindset. Although that can really be very freeing too, because I mean, I like to make lists because I don't want anything in my mind other than an openness. I don't want any gorillas, any lions and tigers, any fear, doubt, greed, any of that stuff in my consciousness at all, ever. Okay? Because then you can reach a state which is, I don't want to sound like I'm like some, like hotshot enlightened guy, but it's like you can reach a state where you're simply not in the way. You're simply not in the way, and then you can connect to your true self, which is pure godliness. And even to say it as God, I think even the word God it can be misleading totally. You become like an empty vessel, and then once you're an empty vessel, you realize, or I was asked today, like, how do you prepare for this broadcast? What I do is I do whatever I do and I pay attention. In other words, I get out of the way and I let God send me, I could be looking at the internet, I could get a phone call, I could, everything. Everything is a lesson, a personal, everything, every thought, every feeling, every certainly relationship, everything you see, everything you hear is a direct communication to you from God. Okay, I don't want to say God, from source. Let's say from source, from creation itself, because you are creation itself. So when you get out of the way, you already receive it. You're already getting it 24/7, man. You're already receiving. You're a channel. You are a vessel. You're already there. It's just that I really pay attention, and I'm sure most of you do also. But I pay attention to like everything that happens to me all the time. I just like, oh, you know, really, that's interesting. That happened. And sometimes things happen and I can't explain it. And sometimes you can get sucked into a sour mood. Somebody can say something or look at you sideways, and suddenly you're thrown off your game into this like, that's when I kind of automatically, just like every time I close the door, I've trained myself, because I used to lock myself out of my car all the time. I've trained myself that I do not close the door until I feel the key in my hand. I won't close the door until I feel the key. That's just, it's a habit I've done. And so too, as soon as I get into like a fear thought or an anger thought, I go, I fill my lungs up with air. I'm like, what's going on? What happened? What happened? I realize it's like beep, 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 invasion, 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 warp speed, rig for red, get ready, it's, yeah. And then I start saying my mantra, master of the universe, master on the in breath, of the universe on the out breath. And after a couple breaths, usually I'm like, okay. So that it's a constant like stabilization. But if you're in that kind of state, I mean, that's how I can describe it. And again, it could be completely different for I don't know what it's like for you. You might have a completely different recipe for this kind of ability to see the goodness in everything. And that's why I admire SG Anon, because he understands that when you go through a trial, when you go through a hard time, according to Hasidus, I mean, it says in Hasidus, it's God loving you on a deeper level. It's like he loves you so much that he knows you can handle a kind of a difficult situation, and he knows that it'll bring you to an even higher understanding and a higher awareness and a higher sense of joy by going through this trial or test or painful situation. And then eventually you could probably reach a state where you're basically, it's a feedback loop. So you're constantly correcting yourself, dealing with resets all the time, and just resetting yourself quickly if something comes up. And you're feeding, then you become part of the loop with be create be fruitful and multiply. You become be fruitful and multiply. You become a vessel. In Hasidus they use the term light and vessels. Everything is a light and a vessel. So the feminine aspect is the empty vessel that receives from the higher vessels. And that's the attribute of Malchus. It's really queenship. It's really, but that aspect of emptiness, and this is really what I'm describing as Malchus, because a true king or a true queen has nothing of their own. They only receive the light from their servants, from their not servants, from their subjects. They don't have Lamborghinis, man. They don't have. They say you're only allowed a certain amount of horses. Um, okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't on Rumble. Let me get back to Rumble. Okay, here we go. But that attribute, that's considered the lowest sphere of that's the 10th sphirot, the 10th attribute of godliness. And yet it's the highest attribute in a way, because it has nothing of itself, and it receives from all the attributes above it, and then it becomes the crown of the world below it. So there's this transfer of energy from the crown, and everything that you receive, and all the different things that filter into your consciousness, and then it all goes down into Yesod and Malchus. I mean, this is all a Kabbalah that I'm going to be probably exploring more as we come into an age where, because the word Kabbalah has come up so much, it's important that people understand that Kabbalah is when used in the light, is the map of the universe. It's the map of the way source expresses itself in this realm. That's why I always say the 13 bloodline families. And I when I named the channel Kabbalah Guru, I didn't know anything about the Cabal. I knew nothing about the Cabal, this term, the Cabal. But I also believe that there are no accidents in this world. And even though YouTube took down my Kabbalah Guru channel, On Rumble, I'm still Kabbalah Guru. So God must want me to be Kabbalah Guru. It's I'm still Ellie. I'm just Ellie, plain old Ellie, but or Eli, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me late for dinner. But yeah. So what all this means, and at the end of the day, there's going to be okay. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to say that there's going to be this that the whole society is coming to an end, and people who are awake, like you guys, are awake, and you can clearly see that the fear, the demon of doubt, is losing his power. Amalek in the Old Testament, it's called Amalek. It's called that which makes you cold to source. It tells you, well, maybe he's not real, maybe he's not really there. He doesn't know you. Doesn't He's busy. He's got more important people to deal with than you. This is Amalek, and this is the demon of doubt. This is what makes you cold to Getlichkeit, which is one of my favorite Yiddish words. Getlichkeit, it means godliness, because I like godliness better than God. I mean, the idea, God sounds like, like could be, a guy down the street. It's like God lives, 4 blocks from here. You're at the wrong address. But if you think of source, I mean, to give source a name like that is probably very misleading. And to think of God as something, you think of God as like God is out there and I'm here. It's like it's for me. It seems cleaner if you just say source, because you're also part of source, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. It's right inside you, and that's what our sages say. It's very close to you. It's not far away. I had a dear friend in the old days when I was in Nashville. I don't know if she even knows that I exist anymore, but her name was Ezra Mohawk, and she was a backup singer apparently for the Grateful Dead, one of their backup singers. She had a powerful voice, and she introduced me to Gurdjieff and Ouspensky. I mean, she was Jewish also, and we spent many hours talking about philosophical points. Why did I bring up Ezra Mohawk? Because there was a song, because she was a songwriter also in Nashville. We were both, she was probably a lot more successful than I could ever imagine being, but she said there was a song written called "From a Distance." From a distance, like God from a distance. And she used to get so angry about the lyrics in that song. She's like, God is not from a distance. God is right here. He's here in your what you think are, your weaknesses, your character deflaws. This is just nonsense. I mean, you're perfectly imperfect. You're a cherished piece of the universe. Nothing can stop what's coming, man. This is biblical. This is really biblical. It's really, really, really biblical. They're not just saying that. This is the end of the story that started in the Garden of Eden. We're going to find out more, but given the limited amount of knowledge we have of the past, Genesis, the book of Genesis and the Torah, to me, I mean, I'm very grateful that I spent the last 25 years studying this, because it totally transformed my way of my way of thinking about things. And now at this point, I'm not quite as, I'm not as religious as I was. I'm kind of like shedding some of the more disciplined aspects of the religion in favor of spending more time, because what I'm, and again, if I was a real holy man, it wouldn't probably make a difference, but for me, like, I need, at this point in my life, I need to have all my time dedicated to what I'm doing right now. I just feel like I don't, and I know if I was on a higher level, or if I was a different person, that davening with a minion, praying with 10, 9 other guys would be very, very helpful for me, and I do miss it terribly, but I'm focused on what I'm doing here, and I feel that this is a very important thing to do, and I don't see anyone else except maybe Gila, and a few other friends really doing this, which is taking this new age and bringing it into the vessels of Torah, of seeing the godly nature of the transformation that has already taken place. That's the thing that I wanted to really say tonight, is that we're already in it. They say in healing circles like AA, they say once you recognize a problem, you're 90% healed. And in the medical community, once they diagnose you with a problem, they have a set pathway for where they want to send you, set medicine, set procedures. And that's the danger of this kind of organization. So it can be, used against you. But I think we're already much more there than we realize. And even though a lot of people are still saying, "When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?" It's already happened. Our consciousness has completely evolved in the last couple of years. We're not the same at all. Whether it's the Schumann resonance, whether it's solar flares, whether it's our chakras are being activated, it's happening. It's not happening. It's happened. It's already happened. We're already there. Now it's just I told another story from the past. I'm gonna tell this. This is kind of like a not totally kosher kind of story, but years ago, when I was in Nashville, I was hanging out with some really nice people, and one of the people, a woman, was a bit of a teacher. She was a teacher, and she was teaching us how to like kind of heal each other by putting our hands on each other. And there were men and women together, and we started to like give massages to each other. And we had all lived, we were all kind of like, we left at that point I had left my first wife, and the women had just left their long-term relationships. Everyone was kind of like starting out fresh, and we were giving each other massages. And one of the women said, when do we get to feel like love? Like, when do we get to express love? When do we get to have a contact with like we're all single? Or it's like, when do we get to have express ourselves in a holy way, in a loving way, with men and women? And um as a result of that statement, possibly, I started a relationship with one of the women in this community, and it was a very beautiful relationship. I don't think I was really mature enough at the time to really appreciate the beauty of this particular woman, the gifts. But I think we're coming to a place where we're quickly going to be saying, like, when is it going to get good? And it's really just a matter of you deciding that you're there, and you saying to yourself, "Okay, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to have a good time. I'm ready to enjoy godliness. I'm ready to be fruitful and multiply. I'm ready to do what God sent me here to do." It's that simple. And then just getting out of your own way. And I kind of outlined that in the beginning, that just stop letting them feed you fear porn. Just like turn the channel and say, "Man, I mean, patriots too." I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel like being scared today. I'm not into that vibe. I want to feel love today. So I just encourage you all to just really take stock and really understand your own power and your own magnificence and your own unique vibrational force. as we make this incredible transition, but we've already recognized the enemy, which is we didn't know. I mean, people reading the Bible said, well, for years they've been saying, "Who's Amalek? Who's Amalek? What is that? Is that the Germans? Is that the Iranians? What's Amalek? Who is it?" And now we know it's a force on the planet. It's the 13 bloodline families. They're not human. It's the Illuminati. It's those who would willingly and joyfully destroy the life of the most innocent, precious treasure on earth, which is the children. The children are greater than any precious metal. The children are a being that would willingly destroy a child. It's not something that you and I can imagine. But this is what these people do. And these beings have to be eliminated. And thank God there's a plan that's greater than me and greater than all of us. And that, but it's not source. It works with source. I believe the white hats work with source. I believe they have high technology. They have time. I believe they have time machines and looking glass technology, and they can go through portals into other, time periods, other planetary, other regions of existence. And we've been pretty much kept in the Stone Age, but that could change at the drop of a hat. And that's really what's about to happen. It's not what's about to happen. That is what has happened, because now that we know about it, we're 90% of the way there. It's just a matter of cleaning up some dirty holes underground, getting rid of a few gangsters, heartless gangsters that are not totally human, or who work for beings that are not totally human, and coming into a realization that you are the one, that nothing can stop in your way. You are the Messiah. And nobody can do what you can do. And nobody can, fulfill and go back, think what you wanted to be when you were 5 years old. If you wanted to sing, sing. I mean, listen, I know. I mean, I tried to make it as a musician. Everybody told me, you can't do that. You're from a nice family. It's not proper. You have to get a job. You have to be able to support, all this stuff. And, so I was told from the get go, you can't go down that road. And I fought it tooth and nail. I said, yeah, I'm going to go down that road and I'm going to make it. And I didn't. Well, I did make it in that I learned a lot of really valuable lessons, really hard lessons. So I did make it, but I didn't make it in the way, people think of making it as, like, I mean, but if you look at the people who made it, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for these guys. They had to sell their souls to the Baal, Moilech, to doing horrible things to kids. Anyway, so we're coming into Matan Torah, into the giving of the Torah. My ISO is pretty good. Yeah, Jill? Scene looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, and the main thing is to see the background, because I love the lights. You can't really see it yet. Maybe my ISO has to be readjusted. You know what? I could probably change the lighting. But anyway, I'm not going to fuss with it. We'll eventually get it. Anyway, it's 1,000 times better than it was. So I think everyone should really take heart. So I called this, crash under JB. There's going to be a crash. They tried to do it under Mr. T. It didn't work out for them. They're 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 in hot water and they know it. And they're going down l'chaim to life, and to love, and to doing what you came here to do with joy. Chaim. A little bit of 100%. What was Scharfenberger chocolate at the bottom from breakfast? That stuff is cooking chocolate. It's like 100%, or it's very pure. All right, let me get this thing unplugged. How we doing power? Here we have power there. Okay, so all is good. All right, so now, what do you guys think? You drink to that, and it did, yeah. The Great Awakening. So we're really, what happened? What happened to the lights? Didn't is that? Oh, that's just my computer. Okay, so because I unplugged. Maybe I should keep the plug in. So many learning things. I think it's okay. I mean, it's green. If you know a Mac, when it's green, does that make a difference? I think it does. All right, that's what you get. Trusting reptilian Rothschilds, Illuminati, fiat money system, who never honor your agreement. Why should you? At top of the period, yeah. But you know what, man? At the end of the day, we're gonna like top. We're all minions. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if you're for real, Coke, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time in anger, man. I wouldn't. You need the Great Awakening song. Yeah. After Shavuos, which is on Thursday night, I will be able to play music again. We don't play music during this time period. We don't get haircuts. That's why you think my hair's, so it has grown back, but it looks probably I look hairier than anyway. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I watched a video you told us to watch about the Child Protective Services. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know what your point is. I don't know. Yeah, that I told you to watch. Yeah, about the Child Protective Service. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's what they're doing. That's the criminal nature of these people. But I would give you a song, but I can't. It's just a religious thing, and I was going to sing today, but a friend of mine said, you made a, you know, I'm becoming like a little less religious, so I really have to hold on to whatever religion I can hold on to. And in my Hasidic group, we don't play music until we get the Torah. In fact, I don't think we even have weddings. There are no weddings during these 49 days because you can't have music. I think you can actually have a cappella, is that it was? You could have a guy singing, but no musical instruments. About a sharp dressed man, yeah. Getting dark, getting dark. Turn lights on, maybe. Right. So this time it's let's see, my ISO. It's lighter, isn't it? I mean, you can see my face, right? Oh, it's dark on. Is it dark on Rumble? I think it's pretty bright. I don't know. Jill, you there, man? Jill's my backup, man. Are we looking good? Do we need to change? Do I need to change my ISO? Okay. So anyway, okay. So let's do some intel. You're a top guy. Don't let things get to you. There's nothing better than inner peace. Yeah, I absolutely. No, I totally agree. Listen, man, I am very grateful. I am very grateful. Listen, they fired me from a job, the most secure job on the planet, being a public school teacher. And they told me to take a hike. You know, I mean, you can, after being a musician, I wanted to have the most secure job on the planet, and that was being the public. Actually, it wasn't really secure. That was fake news because Bloomberg came in and tried everything he could to fire any teacher who was making more than like a 5-year kind of salary. That you had a target on your back. It didn't matter if you were good or bad or whatever. It just you were making money. They wanted you out. You were living. Yes, yeah. I think that's really beautiful, Josh. Yeah, we are living in a simulation. I totally agree with that. I see it. I'm a little bit removed from the simulation because because I live by myself and I don't really engage so much in, I do my intel research, but I don't really focus on it. And I walk barefoot on the beach every day. I had a great time. A great time. Yeah, I'm not really a Jesus person, but we're Jewish. You're like the dude with the slingshot that kills the big guy. Yeah, yeah, man. Well, actually, it was Gila. Gila put the, Gila put the slingshot into the big baddie that was putting down the Jewish people, Whiplash. But she did it. She's the real hero here. And being a business doer, yeah, you must pay taxes if you own a business. Yep. You know what? Yep. You're probably right, Stephen. I just, whatever. I don't. I don't believe the IRS is operable, and I don't. I don't want to support trafficking. I don't want to. Anyway, so that's a personal thing. Oh, by the way, one more point. If anybody reaches out to you on Telegram and tells you lobster's about to go down, you need to put your funds in a Q is some kind of Q investment. Just that is a scammer. We had a person on the channel who reached out to me today. She says, Ellie, what should I do? This person tells me lobster's about to go down. I said, that's how I got scammed out of my XRP. They told me I thought it was a friend of mine. I thought it was actually Mel Carmine contacting me saying, Ellie, you got to get your XRP off lobster. And I fell for it. So don't listen to those guys, man. Just block them. Block anybody on Telegram who reaches out to you. I have pretty girls every day reach out to me, beautiful faces, seductive poses and all this stuff. I block them immediately, which just goes against my nature. But I just because I know these are scammers. It's probably some dude in who knows where. I don't want to say the country, but you know which country. These guys, these scammers, just sit around and they'll do anything. They'll say anything. We are energy living in a body. Yeah. Giller's a warrior. Absolutely. Yeah. I can attest to that. She's amazing. She she's relentless, and she went against this guy, man. This guy who was putting out all this fake news about how Jews worship Molech and all this disgusting stuff, and we weren't the real Jews, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Anyway, so lobster's just a wallet. Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to get into the crypto thing. What do you guys? Let's go to. I'm going to go to Intel. Let's do a little bit of Intel. I don't know what time is it. 36. That was a long rant. I just went on and on. See, that's what's going to happen once you get out of the way, man. You'll be a rantaholic, man, like me. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. We'll put this over here. All right, what is this interesting things? This month, more than 100 Marines and sailors participated. Oh, we got that this morning about the UAE. This does not look like it's been updated. Let me just see. I don't know if I refreshed my. Could be. I don't know if I can refresh just part of it without losing everything here. Connecting. Okay, so we're connecting. So there'll be some kind of new drops. Let me just check out. Um, let me check out. Yeah, I'm just going to read the end of this post. During these challenging and dark moments, let us maintain faith, dear patriots, for beyond the faith lies the light. The best is yet to come as we navigate through the tempestuous storm. forging ahead towards a brighter future. So we're heading for a beautiful future. Nothing can stop what's coming. It's really a matter of waking up, I believe. There are some extraordinary people that God definitely blessed that are here to lead us. They put themselves out here every day. They are accused and abused, but they still stand and deliver direction, news, and encouragement. To those of you, I not only salute, but I thank you with everything in me. This journey has been difficult for many of us at times. We stand stronger every day because of the leadership, the encouragement, the knowing we are doing what is right, and it propels us to go on. We know that we are the generation of warriors that will lead the future generations out of the darkness and into the light. I, for one, am forever grateful. I am especially grateful to my two amazing mentors, especially for putting up with my moods and shenanigans over the past 3+ years. You two must truly be saints. And to NPM for opening his channel. I'm not sure who that is. Also, special thanks to my frog family for helping to steady the course along the way. We are definitely God's chosen warriors. The best is yet to come. Okay. Sometimes a word or two can change your mindset, your mood, your future. Find what works for you. Yesterday, I was complaining to my mentor about someone claiming words I wrote as theirs. I whined that I was tired of frauds. The very wise advice I was given was this: don't be tired, no need. Remember, your attitude about it will determine your attitude about it. These simple but wise words lifted me back up and returned me to the path I needed to be on. Frogs, always remember to choose your words carefully. I have been blessed with two mentors that always choose the right words just for me. Be a mentor to those that love and care for you, that you love and care for. We are Flynn's frogs and fully reliant on God, love, and light to all. I'm not seeing anything new. I'm not well, okay. Well, this I'm in dangerous territory with my. This is an interesting thing about the Red Cross. I don't know if do we really need to go there? We all know the Red Cross has turned rogue, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to really. I don't want to. I really don't want to even think about it. All right. Intel drop 1045. We don't inform our enemies of the specifics. We instead instill fear in them to make unplanned and disastrous countermoves. That's from 17, letter 17. All right. I'm trying. There are a lot of short. You all are just beginning. Oh, you all are just begging for disclosure at this point. Huge, obvious air. 17. Are you kidding me? Let's do this. 17. POTUS really made this one obvious, didn't he? It was the end that sealed it. And I haven't seen that tape. Okay, Mr. T, POTUS is on fire. POTUS has been tagging his drop all day. This time he isolates it. We knew this day would come. We knew people would need a guide. We have a part to play. We knew Flynn would be challenged. Part of the plan. Flynn, J.R. Recent did not lie to VP. Timing. Plan. SIG sent. White House, White Hat position or White House position. Moves and counter moves. Roll outside of the House, I think. Lost House, right. Funds for legal beat up. You're watching a movie, right? What is right? What is wrong? Up is down, left is right, left is left. White House position, rapid changes, or White Hat position. Why? Planned. Visibility in one helps another. Connected. The three letter agency that starts with C to Secretary of State, NK, North Korea, Iran, Russia, China, Mexico. Why is this relevant? Think pushback. Open source. Why? They are watching. Proofs provided to retain. Future proves past history books. They tried to delete the proof. POTUS win 120. Deep clean. They never thought she would lose. Insurance without cover. Nothing is deleted. No such agency. Tool development primary plus meta essential. Easy cover. Acts so sick and evil conspiracy push. Fake reality almost always wins. Trust the plan. Hard to swallow for many. Treason, corruption first. Think resignations, coincidence. Speaker of House resigning, coincidence. You have more than you know. Have faith. Where we go one, we go all. WW equals worldwide. Try harder. 17. Dark 10. All right, so we started at 7:15. I'm a little bit the intel is not so interesting that I'm getting here. Okay, here it is. Mr. T. POTUS is on fire. It T them all. Just two drops. Look at the 809 strings. Let's effing go. Did Mueller open the door to the country you? Am I losing light? Am I light enough? I think we're fine. Did Mueller open the door to FISA illegal? How do you introduce evidence legally? Excuse me. Did impeachment provide a platform to discuss findings of the country you? How do you introduce evidence legally? Did impeachment harm or help POTUS in public? How do you introduce D's high crimes, corruption to the public? Why didn't POTUS remove B.O. Hussein holdovers from the National Security Council? Do you really believe that POTUS and team trusted BO holdovers to remain within the administration and work to enact POTUS's agenda without bias or confrontation? How do you awaken the induced coma public, fake news control from their long sleep? Sometimes allowing your enemies to openly attack logical thinking. What advantages from 17? What advantages might exist when you know the other side's playbook? Enjoy the show. 17. Caught them all. It's happening, man. I mean, we're seeing it now. I believe. I It seems to me that we're way into the storm, and it's just going to get more interesting, deeper and darker. More and more people are going to be waking up. Jill, what do you think? My ISO? I gotta up the ISO. I don't know. I think I put it to 250 tonight. I think it's okay. Yeah, Gil is a warrior. All right, so just let's just recap basically what we were talking about tonight, and that is basically you are the one. We all just have to open our eyes now. In As we move into this new age, into the Great Awakening, into the era of Mashiach, of the Messiah, you will probably, most of you will probably end up being the leaders of the new world. So everything we share together is golden, and nothing can stop this, man. It's just, the plan is just magnificent. It's so magnificent. It was so aggravating for us to have to deal with the slowness of it. But really, if you think about it, to change the consciousness of an entire civilization from dark to light, a consciousness that is completely captured. You can't just do this and, arrest a few people and expect people to wake up. This is a huge transformation that's taking place. It's a magnificent transformation, but it's being done in a way that makes sense. I mean, if they just slammed us with the EBS, I know if Gila's listening, she's probably cooking beautiful things for Yontif for the holidays. And I know she really wants the EBS, and we all do. But think of Matan Torah. Think of when we received the Torah. The people were blown, their souls were blown out of their bodies for like miles, like 3 miles out of their bodies. Think of what would happen with when the EBS hits, man. These people are unprepared. They don't know anything about this stuff. They'll be just blown out of their bodies. It has to come in. This whole thing has to look like it's happening in a natural way. That's the real That's the finesse. That's the chess masters at work. We were ready for this to happen in 2020. We were ready. Okay, man, let's rock. Let's do this. And the people, the military, the white hats, the good guys saw that they're not going to reveal their timing to the bad guys. I remember Mr. T said, we're not going to tell the enemy when we're going to, when we're going to attack. It's counterproductive. But they are attacking and things are moving forward. And I maintain that we are much more forward than backward, that we are much more deep into the storm, deep into the awakening, deep into the new age, the golden age, the crash is imminent. We're very close to these things like speeding up. It's a D5, it's an avalanche. Once it starts going, nothing can stop it. So hold on to your hats, man. Do whatever you do personally to connect to source, do it with joy. Do it with a smile. Do it with expectations of quantum realizations in the 3D world, of having everything you want and more. of prosperity, of unlimited prosperity. I mean, whatever that means for you. I mean, for me, it's like I have a bicycle, it's like I'm happy. I don't want to have a car. I hate cars. They're dangerous and they scare me because I was in a car accident. I just, I'm so happy if I want to go somewhere, it takes me a little longer. I get on the subway, man. I get to see cool people. I get to hang. I get to breathe the air that other people breathe, and it's very grounding for me to take the subway. And I don't do it very often, but it's fun. So anyway, so that's really the bottom line is that I really believe Gila's here. Hey, Gila, granny good cook. Yeah, it's hard for me to think of Gila as a granny. I can't really wrap my mind around that too well, but yeah, she's brave and wonderful. Rhode Island took pups for a long walk and planted my vegetable plants. Yeah, it's almost time to be planting in New York. The people are catching bluefish out there, by the way, in my front yard. Big ones, nice sized bluefish. I personally, I'm not. I can't seem to get excited about fishing. I'm much more into my glass collecting. I had such a nice walk today on the beach. I I crashed the plover reproductive area. I think I'm going to walk around it. I'm going to start like behaving a little bit. They closed off the beach for plovers. The plover, I saw a plover today. They're the cutest little birds you have ever seen. If you saw like I saw a plover, like me, I'm thinking to myself, if these guys are gonna like hang out and make nests, man, I'm not gonna walk through it anymore because they are just the cutest little birds I have ever seen. They're tiny. They're these little teeny birds, and they have these big eyes, and they're just cute as can be. So I actually found that the glassing, that there's more glass if I go around the plover area. It's a longer walk, but there's a lot of good glassing down. The surfers hang down about 2 miles from here. There's a lot of surfers, and I gave away a piece of glass to a pretty girl, and I think it's. And I said to this young, a very young woman, I said to her, I said, the reason I like glass, I like to collect the glass is because it's man-made, but it's shaped by nature, just like us, I said. So, but it could inspire somebody. She was collecting rocks, but it could inspire someone to like, I don't know why I collect glass. I have no idea why God put this desire in my mind, but it gets me out of the house, and it makes me aware of when low tide is, and yeah, I get to see beautiful little birds and people, and I make a point to say hello to people, like even people that look scary to me. Like there were some big guys, and I just said, "How you doing?" And it just, that first they were like, Okay," and then when they saw that I wasn't going to let up, I was just going to be cheerful in their face. They were like, they smiled. They said, "Yeah, it's a nice day. It's not bad." I have a radar for people that are feeling a little bit defensive, and I always try to like open them up. Like that's my way of getting over my shyness in when I have to go to a big event in my former community. Like a lot of weddings and stuff. I feel shy going into a big place, so I just find out somebody. I look for somebody who's really uncomfortable and go hang out with them to try to make them feel better. And I actually got a job that way. I got one of my first decent teaching jobs because this was when they put me in the rubber room the first time, and I went to a wedding of a friend of mine, and a guy looked like really out of place. I knew, he didn't have a beard, he didn't have a black hat, he was just sitting all by himself. So I said, "Hey, that guy looks," So I went and I sat with him, and he said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a teacher." He says, "Oh," he says, "I work with teachers. I'm gonna, I have a new school I'm starting." He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a math teacher." And he said, Really, I'm looking for a math teacher. And I ran home, I got my resume, I brought it back, and I had a job. It was that's called hashgacha pratis. That's called divine providence. That's called God takes care of us. It just I needed a job. The peeps in the Department of Education were not going to make my life easy. They already had me in the rubber room the first time. That was when they really had rubber rooms. When I first was put in the rubber room, then they made it just like I was a permanent substitute going from school to school. And they thought that would discourage me because, I was dealing with being like a permanent substitute, and they thought, surely these tough kids will kill that little Jewish guy. And I was like, no, man, I made friends with them. I was a bigger gangster than they were. We were like, I knew all the gang signs. Anyway, so life is good. You have to, make lemonade from lemons and hundreds of Red Cross boxes. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, Kevin. Yeah. Ships in the sky. No, have you been seeing them? Where do you live, Tanya, honey? Oh, I missed it. I missed it. Uh, Elizabeth, I'm always good. I'm always happy to see you. But Tanya Honey was talking about ships in the sky. I did see. I put out a video of those weird lights I saw. Nobody really can explain what those lights were, but maybe it was the airport. I don't know. Gila sees a lot of ships in the sky. Yeah, we did not know how evil the Red Cross was. That's for sure. All these organizations, the UN. I mean, when I was a little kid, Halloween we collected UNICEF coins. Oh, let's give to UNICEF. We didn't know they were using the money to transport little ones around the planet. I mean, who knew? Anyway, just have a great night. It's a beautiful, beautiful time of year. It's a great time to just check in with Source and really motivate yourself and really be open to the possibility that things can change very rapidly, and you might find yourself having to decide, what do I really want to do? What do I really love doing? I would not be surprised if one day we woke up and somebody asked me, what do you want to do? And I would say, I already do what I want to do. But I mean, for everyone should know and do what they came here to do and not have to worry about money or what people think, or is it a real job, is it a fake job, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, have a great night. I will see you in the morning. It's a new week. Hopefully there'll be more intel. They're just really, I didn't see anything new. That's why I didn't really focus on it. But having Gila around and having all my friends and the family, it's our community is really growing and we're really coming close. And yes, we will. Let's make a point of meeting soon. We could figure out a way. There must be a way we could meet. It doesn't have to be a fancy place. I mean, there must be a place we could. I was thinking maybe camping for a week. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be too far from the internet because I want to keep broadcasting, but we can meet somewhere. We'll figure it out. It could be, might be nice to stay in a hotel somewhere that supports something like a big. I'm sure they have all kinds of. I have a diamond shaped silhouette. Yeah, yeah. My face is crooked. it's diamond. Um, yeah. Anyway, it's definitely very important. Yeah, I'm really pleased that SGNon is putting me on it. I don't know if it's his channel or I don't know what it is, but I'm very, very pleased because I love SGNon. He's one of the people that I listen to. He's not into fear porn. He doesn't make me scared. He doesn't say the world is falling apart. He said the world is falling up. The world is falling together in a beautiful way. And they're not. I don't hear that from a lot of people. ISO 800. Okay, I'll try 800. Would that work in the transition between dark and light? I'll put it up to 800 at night. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the morning. Much love, and be fruitful and multiply. That's it. Nothing can stop this. Okay, catch you in the morning. God bless, and I'll put my ISO to 800 tomorrow evening. Okay. Thanks so much for the advice.